What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. With ruling party presidential candidate Ching-te abroad on official business, his two opponents have had a busy weekend of campaigning in Taiwan South. John Van Trieste has this update.
Vice President and presidential hopeful Ching-te is overseas, representing Taiwan at the inauguration of Paraguay's new president. This has left the campaign trail back home open to his two rivals. The Kuomintang's Hou You-yi headed south to Kaohsiung, a place where his party doesn't typically see a strong showing. He spent Sunday surrounded by his party's legislative hopefuls and supporters. He also criticized Lai's Democratic Progressive Party, or DPP, saying some of its lawmakers have been inventing stories about him for their own gain. Third-party candidate Ko Wen-je of the Taiwan People's Party also traveled south over the weekend, visiting the city of Tainan. Like Ho, Ko Wen-je took aim at the DPP. In a video uploaded Saturday, he criticized the party's fiscal policy.
While
election day is still 5 months away, Lai is ahead in the polls, and it's unclear whether his absence or the attacks of his opponents will do anything to affect his lead. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The mayor of Hsinchu City has been indicted on charges of corruption. Gao Hong'an of the Taiwan People's Party is accused of embezzling around $14,000 by falsely reporting her assistants' salaries. She's also accused of altering documents to cover up the crime. If found guilty, she could face 7 years in prison. Gao maintains she is innocent.
我想在侦查的一开始的时候，我想检察官就已经认定就是要起诉我贪污。今天得到这个贪污起诉的结果，其实真的一点都不意外。许多我身为被告有力的证据基本上是完全的不管不顾。
Taiwanese chip giant TSMC saw its stocks dipping on Monday, briefly falling below the company's 6-month average. TSMC's stock price fell to as low as $16.81. This indicates a weakening financial performance for the world's largest contract chip maker. Its market value has shrunk almost $6.5 billion. The company also anticipates its third quarter performance will be lower than in previous years. TSMC recently announced it would build its first foundry in Europe. That's on top of its ongoing multi-billion-dollar projects in Japan and the U.S. state of Arizona. And staying with tech news, Foxconn has reported a 1% drop in second quarter net profits. Profits for the company that makes Apple's iPhone slipped by just over $9 million from the same period last year. But this number was better than the average some analysts expected. Earlier this year, Foxconn predicted its revenue for 2023 would be flat. That's as the slow global economy dampens demand for consumer electronics. The government is responding to claims that the number of undocumented foreigners in Taiwan has reached a record high of 115,000. That includes nearly 83,000 migrant workers reported missing by their employers. Louise Watt reports.
Police in Taoyuan City stopping an overloaded taxi, only to then discover that all 6 passengers were migrant workers from Vietnam reported missing by their employers. A few days earlier, 2 Thai nationals that authorities say were illegally employed by a Taiwan power company subcontractor died in a car crash while en route to a job site during a typhoon. It's incidents like these that are throwing attention on undocumented migrant workers in Taiwan. Most migrant workers come from Southeast Asia, and their status is tied to a single employer. They're not allowed to leave or change jobs, though many do, because of poor work conditions, disagreements with their employer, or in search of better wages. Migrant workers were temporarily barred from entering Taiwan during the pandemic, which made the labour shortage worse. But Taiwan's Ministry of Labour says that since borders reopened, fewer migrant workers have been reported missing, and their overall number has increased. From a total of 739,000 migrant workers, 16,700 were reported missing in the first half of 2023. down 4,400 from the same period in 2022. In that time, the rate fell from 3.14% to 2.28%. The Labour Ministry says that's partly because Taiwan has been cracking down on illegal employment and allowed visa overstayers to voluntarily depart. But observers say Taiwan is not getting to the root of the problem.
拉高待遇，看台湾人要不要做。对啊，如果你没有办法拉高的话，诚实的讲，任何国家它都只能把移工做一定时间特色。其他先进国家都解决不了。我们提供的资源、我们的制度、我们能给的条件更差，你没有办法解决。
Migrant workers come to Taiwan in search of a better life. With an aging population and a shrinking workforce, observers say Taiwan needs to have more flexible policies for people who want to live and work in the country. Alex Chen and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese authorities are stepping up efforts to combat the spread of online revenge porn. New regulations taking effect on Tuesday give victims the power to report sexual images hosted on websites without their permission. If the website doesn't remove the images within a given time, Taiwan's health ministry can fine the site more than $18,000. If necessary, authorities can also block access to the site. Ministry statistics from February to June show reports of revenge porn increased 5 times over the same period last year. Of these, most involved women aged 18 to 25, but people of any age can fall victim.
最大年龄74岁我们的一个阿嬷也是有这样性向的这个遭散布的威胁。
A trespasser entered a Railyard in northern Taiwan over the weekend and spray painted a train worth about $25 million. Taiwan Railways Administration staff noticed the paint early Sunday morning and reported it to local police. A TRA employee says the intruder may have climbed a wall to gain access. TRA says it's looking into the Railyard's security. If the trespasser is caught, they face 1 to 7 years in prison and up to $313,000 in fines. A farmer in southern Taiwan has grown watermelons that can be eaten in just a few bites. John Van Trieste reports on what people are making of these miniature melons.
Ripe and hanging on the vine is farmer Huang Zhihui's new creation, and it's just in time for summer. It's a tiny watermelon he's calling a Miniball. Weighing around 600 grams on average, one melon is the size of a baseball, and just 1/30th the size of the giant watermelons sold in supermarkets. The choice to think small was a deliberate one.
单身或者是夫妻俩，那这样的分量是蛮适合他们小送人口去食用的，不用这样买到外面的那么大颗鸡冠，然后买了切了还要放在冰箱要冰很久，这可能一次就可以把它吃完。
You can even eat the rind. These bite-sized melons have already become a hit with those who've tried them.
这果肉看起来很红感觉甚至比那种大西瓜还要红。
But for now, you won't find mini balls in many places outside Huang's farm in Chiayi County. Though they ripen in just 50 days, they attract more pests than regular watermelons. That means they need extra care, with a higher price as a result. So while the fruit is still at an experimental stage, Huang hopes it won't be too long before the fruit-loving public are lining up to sample his mini balls. Justin Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwanese 11-year-old has won the title of Pokémon Master. Yan Shaotong was competing at the Pokémon World Championships, which took place in Japan over the weekend. Yan scored a 2-0 victory over his competitor Gabriel Torres in the final match of the event's juniors trading card game. The annual tournament is the Pokémon franchise's highest-level competitive event. Each August, the world's top players come together to compete in 4 major games. This year, Yokohama is the first city in Japan and in Asia to hold the event. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of the Perseid meteor shower over the Balkans. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.